This is a true story about an extraordinary miracle. Everything in this video was medically documented by ScienceDirect.com. The full article will be linked in the description below. It was the summer of 1959, and a young woman named Grace, only 18 years old, was living a vibrant life full of promise. Grace began to notice something unsettling. Her vision was blurry, especially in her left eye. But as weeks went by, the blurriness didn't go away. It only worsened. Her left eye completely lost vision, and soon her right eye followed suit. In the span of just 3 months, she went from having perfect vision to being unable to see clearly. The world around her faded into darkness. Her once joyful existence became clouded by the heavy weight of blindness. Grace was diagnosed with a rare condition called juvenile macular degeneration, a form of vision loss that occurs when the central part of the retina deteriorates. For someone her age, it was an especially devastating diagnosis. Her doctors told her that there was no cure, that the degeneration would continue, and that she would likely lose her sight entirely. Despite the challenges, Grace didn't lose hope. She married her loving husband, John, and together they built a life centered on faith. John, a pastor, supported her through every step of the journey. They held Bible readings together every night, prayed, and trusted that God had a plan for their lives. Years passed, and Grace's blindness grew worse. By 1971, she could only count fingers with her right eye and barely distinguish hand movements with her left. It seemed as if the world she once knew was slipping further away with each passing day. But in the summer of 1972, something incredible happened. One night, after their evening prayers as they prepared for bed, John, filled with a sense of boldness and faith, knelt by Grace's side. He placed his hand on her shoulder, and with deep emotion, he prayed, "Lord, I know you are able. I know you can restore her sight tonight. We trust in you, God." Tears flowed as they both cried out in faith. Then as the prayer ended, something miraculous took place. Grace opened her eyes, slowly at first, unsure of what was happening. And then, it hit her. She could see. After 13 years of complete blindness, the world was no longer dark. She could see the face of her husband, kneeling before her in astonishment. The miracle was instantaneous. There were no gradual changes, no slow improvements. One moment, Grace was blind, and the next, her sight was fully restored. "I could see perfectly," Grace exclaimed, her heart overflowing with joy and gratitude. The darkness that had surrounded her for over a decade was gone in an instant. The next day, she went to the doctor for an examination, not knowing what to expect. The results were astonishing. Her vision had returned to a level that doctors could not explain. Her visual acuity, once legally blind, was now 2100 in both eyes.